everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Stop Shitting in Yourself. I am Jessica.
And I'm Jamie. How's your week been, Jessica?
It's actually been a really good week this week, so no complaints here.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
It's been good. It's been good. I mean, it's just been like a week. Definitely been busy
Yeah.
so far. But I do see a lot of posts about relationships. I think more so now, just because it's cuffing season.
What?
What do you mean what?
It's what season?
It's cuffing season. It's October.
What's
Oh
is that
my
a good
God.
thing?
Yeah. Oh, girl, wait. Cuffing season. You don't know. You've never heard?
No. No.
What? What? Are you living under a rock? What?
Is this a new thing? Is this
No, it's not a new thing. It's never been new. So it's around that like fall time of year, right? Like September, October, November, like around the holidays.
okay.
So around this time when it gets a little bit cooler, obviously we're in California, so it's still hot.
Okay.
But generally it gets a little bit cooler during the fall, right? And so along with sweater weather, there's cuffing season. So a lot of single people will start kind of looking out for other single people so that they can, get together and have a fling, cuddle up with each other and possibly get into a long-term relationship with each other. But sometimes it doesn't go there,
Got it.
But you have someone you bring to like, the holidays, family meetings and all of that stuff.
I had no idea this is a thing. I had no idea this is a thing.
Oh my goodness. Girl.
Never heard of this.
Okay, well, we learn something new every single day.
Yeah, clearly cuffing season. Okay, so it's a good thing. Like
It's just a
getting
thing.
booed up, kind of, but
Yeah.
just
For
like for the short term though.
I mean, sometimes it'll lead to something, more long lasting, I guess.
I see.
But
I see.
yeah, so it's cuffing season, which is why I
Okay.
see a lot of different like posts about relationships. I see my friends
Yeah.
getting into relationships, but I also do see a lot of weddings happening.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's definitely wedding season.
Is it wedding season too? So it's like a whole bunch of shit
Yeah.
together.
It's like relationship season, maybe.
Oh my
I'm gonna be in a wedding in a few weeks. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely feels like it's that relationship time.
Yeah. So there's been so many different posts about like weddings and just people getting booed up. And it's just like, it's awesome. It's great. But at the same time, as a single person, right?
Yes.
Who's currently like not doing anything to get herself in a relationship either. Cause I'm like, I'm starting to really just enjoy my single life. But as a single person, I did have a question for you because you're
Okay.
married and you're happily married with your husband, Lawrence.
Yes.
And I think you've been married for about a year or so.
Yeah, we're just about at our 1 year.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you as a happily married, person,
Yes.
how do you know if someone is the one for you?
Ooh, that is a loaded question.
Is it?
It's a load.
I mean, some people find it so simple. They're like, "Oh, I knew they were the one right from the get-go." So I'm like, "Okay, let me just ask you. You're happily married. Like, how do you know?"
Well, okay, the reason why I say it's a loaded question is because I feel like that question might be interpreted differently depending on the person. So, I feel like
Oh,
it's definitely a very like personal interpretation, right?
okay.
You interpret it however you want it to be, like the one you want to spend the rest of your life with, like the one
Mm.
and only person that's for you in this world. I don't know.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, and I am going to be honest, I don't think I have a helpful answer for you either, because I am definitely on
Okay.
the same camp of people who are like, you'll just know when you know.
Girl, that is not helpful because I'm here like, how do you even know? Just because like I feel like I'm the type of person when I do get into a relationship because
Yeah.
I know, that person, I know the relationship that I have with that person. I
Mm.
think beyond just like, we're in a relationship just cause,
Right,
I've
right.
always thought like, oh, I might have a future with this person, but
Mm.
obviously It's wrong. I've been wrong every single time. So
Hasn't worked out yet.
yeah. Okay. The power of yet. You're right.
Yes.
It hasn't worked out yet. And I've been wrong every single time, but hopefully not later. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But so I'm like, how do you just know?
I think okay, so for me, I don't think it was like I knew right off the bat that he was like the one that I'm going to
Okay.
spend the rest of my life with.
Mm.
You know, prior to being in a relationship together, we've been friends for a very long time.
Oh,
And
I
I
see.
think seeing him as a friend and you know, like interacting him prior to being in a relationship and then, you know,
Mhm.
through the sort of early years of our relationship, I
Mhm.
think we both established that we're very similar people. We have very
Oh,
similar ideologies. We have very similar, you know, like thoughts about things.
okay.
And, you know, I know that he's the type of person that I'm looking for.
Huh.
So I don't know that, you know, I don't think I'm the romantic type to be like, at the moment I laid eyes on him, I knew he was the one.
Because I'm like that. I'm here like, oh my gosh, I could see myself with this person, like opening the curtains, like enjoying our coffee and reading a book together in the morning and talking about our lives.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness. Yeah, yeah, hopeless romantic.
It totally depends on the person because I definitely know people like that who's like, "Oh my god, like the moment that we met, I there's just sparks everywhere and I
Yeah,
knew that was the
yeah.
person." I think for us it was just like a normal like everyday type of, you know, getting through our lives, going to work, you know, all of those
Mm.
things.
Okay.
That at some point it was like, well, like I can see myself with this person for the rest of my life. Um and in that
Oh,
sense, he's like my the one. But I
okay.
okay, I think I just have the problem with the one, like, just coining the one.
Huh. Okay.
I have a problem with this.
Okay. What do you mean? Can you explain? Why do you have such a problem with that?
So, I think I'm a very logical person.
Mhm.
Obviously, in relationships, you have a very emotional side, right? That's how you get the nice feelings and the, you know, butterflies in your
Right.
stomach. That's how you fall in love. So, there's a very, like, emotional
Sure.
component to a relationship.
Okay.
But I'm also a very logical person. For me, there's like, you know, there's reasons for everything type of thing.
Mhm.
So for someone to say like, "Oh, he's the one," or "She's the one," like it just feels kind of weird, right? Like
Huh.
on a compatibility scale, for
Okay.
example, like you can rank everyone that you've met in your life and how compatible you are with that person on like a 1 to 10 scale. And if
Okay.
you're a 10 out of 10 compatible, it just makes it easier to work through things with that person, right? It might be because you believe in the same thing, you have the same ideology,
Mhm.
right? Like the way that you live are the same. So that's like a 10
Okay.
out of 10. So if you ever have problems thrown at you, right? Like a difficult
Mhm.
problem for someone who's like a 10 out of 10 versus someone who's like a 1 out of 10 compatible, like it's a lot easier for a 10 out of 10 couple to work things through. But I think
True.
past being, you know, compatible with each other, having the same thoughts, ideologies, like all of that,
Mhm.
and past the love and the nice feelings, it's
Right.
hard work. And I've mentioned it in previous podcasts before where like
Mhm.
relationships is a lot of work. Even if
Yeah.
you guys think the same, even if you guys believe in the same things, even
Mhm.
if you know you can finish each other's sentences, right? All the good stuff,
Mhm.
inevitably there will be problems, right? There are things that come about. And I don't think
Right.
it's just love that helps you get
Absolutely.
past a relationship.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
you know, if you think about it, again, very logical, like there's like 7 billion people on this planet, right? Like, how many
Right.
people do you meet in your lifetime? Like, not even like, you know, in your like best years, like just in your lifetime, you meet maybe like 1% at best, like the amount of
Okay.
people in the world.
Sure.
Like to think that you're gonna, you know, of the 1% of people that you meet, of the 7 billion people, like you're gonna find the one person for you, like that to me, probability wise, is just so
Mhm.
low that I believe there are compatible people for you. I believe that of everyone
Okay.
you meet, there are people who you know off the bat that
Mhm.
you're not compatible with, that
Mm.
you might be in certain relationships, and I've been in those relationships where like we're in a
Okay.
relationship but I know I'm not going to end up with this person.
I see.
You know, or like think that they're compatible with you, and then down the line you grow and you grow apart.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like it's not so much like finding the one, right? The one person for you,
Okay.
your one soulmate. I don't think it's that. I think it's
All right.
finding the one person who you are compatible with, who you're willing to do the work with for the rest of your life. I know it's not romantic.
No, but I feel like that's the reality of a relationship though, right? When you do find someone who is the one for you, right? It does have to do with compatibility and with how dedicated are they to the choice that they made to be with
Mhm.
you for the rest of their lives.
Right.
So I think that's the realistic side of a relationship that we don't see a lot on media.
Mhm.
We don't see a lot in, the Hollywood media, all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, how do you even know? Like, you could think that like, oh, they decided to be with you and
Mhm.
it's, their choice to be with you. Therefore, you don't ever take that for granted. But
Right.
at the same time, like they might seem like they're willing to work things out with you, but then there could be other issues that prevent that from really like happening and that can result in a termination of the relationship. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
somebody could
Yeah.
be totally willing to like try, but at the same time, like sometimes just, you know, even if you think that they're super compatible with you, you have the same interests and you view the world similarly. There might be some characteristics of the person where it's like no matter how hard they try, they're just not for you, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a little too late.
Yeah, and I think that totally makes sense, right? Because again, like depending on who you talk to, they
Mm,
they all have a different like thought and, kind of how they view relationships and how they view marriage and how they view this finding a long-term partner type of thing, right? That's why
true.
like arranged marriage, for example, works for some people and they've never met each
Mm,
other before. They get married and they make it work. Some
that is
people, they
true.
spend years before getting married and they still end up not working and, they end up getting divorced. So there's no formula. Like truthfully, I just don't feel like there's one formula that you plug all these variables into and it'll like magically make work. Um,
Right.
you kind of just make the best of your situation at the very moment. But I do also feel like, and maybe that's the emotional part of a relationship, is when you decide that
Okay.
you want to spend the rest of your life with that person, right? Because a lot of
Yeah.
times it's, like we're both in our late 20s. We still
Yeah.
have many, many years of our lives left. You don't know what other hardships or potential things life is going to throw at you for the next
True.
who knows how long,
Right.
um, double our current lifespan. It is a little bit of like taking a leap of faith and just
True.
hoping and knowing that you're going to try your best and your partner is going to try their best to make it work.
Mm,
And maybe that's like the emotional part of it because you just don't know what's going to happen, but I think in a certain given moment, it feels right and it feels like this is the person that's the most right
okay.
for you right now.
Huh. Okay, so you had that moment with Lawrence. I'm guessing is that why? I mean, I'm guessing, duh, because that's why you're married.
Yeah, I always tell people whenever people ask me like, how do you know, you're gonna make it work with him?
Yeah.
I always bring up this specific scenario. So,
Huh.
with our situation, we actually moved in with each other pretty quickly. And
Okay.
for those of you who don't live in Southern California, I'm gonna paint you a picture. At the time, he was living, or we were both living in Orange County, and we both had
Okay.
to commute to LA. So, for those of you who don't know the distance is
Oh.
not actually that far. I think it's like maybe
Yeah.
a like 40-50 mile commute to work,
Yeah, girl, but that traffic,
but that traffic.
remember we talked about this. The traffic sucks. Like if you're dating somebody and they're like you're in LA and they're in Orange County, sorry, that's long distance.
That's a long distance. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
No, thank you.
at the time when we first started dating, I was working in Orange County, and
Okay.
he would make the trek back to hang out with me after his work in LA.
Wow.
So, that was maybe like the courting phase or whatever. But then
Okay.
I landed a job in LA, and it was kind of one of those opportunities that I couldn't pass up. So instead of saying, hey, let's both commute separately to work that was literally right next to each other, we decided to move in
Oh.
like less than a year into dating each other.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
so some will say that that's insane because
Well,
it's fast for a lot of
it is,
people.
yeah, it's pretty fast.
But we did it, and we had a 2-hour one-way commute to and from.
What?
So we had a 4-hour commute every single day to and from work. Um,
Insane.
yeah, and we basically did quarantine way before quarantine happened. We were confined within a car,
Wow.
much smaller than a home,
Wow.
for
Yeah.
like a majority of our relationship. We did that for a really long time, for I like 2 plus years.
That's definitely gonna bring you two closer for sure. Just
Mhm.
because, hey man, like I don't know about you, but when I wake up in the morning, I don't want to be talking to somebody in a car in the early AM.
Yeah.
And you had to do that. And you had to do that after work when you're pissed off because you're just like, I want to go home. So you both saw each other during like, the not so great times of the day.
Yeah. The best and of the best and like the worst of the worst, for sure.
Wow.
We got through each other's like grumpy morning days. We got through each
Yeah.
other's like, sometimes really terrible ends of days, and we didn't want to like murder each other.
Wow. So maybe that's what people need to do if they want to figure out if someone's the one, right? Like commute to work together and then, like after work, commute home.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a
Hmm.
lot because, I feel like a lot of people always say like, hey, before you get married, like you should move in with each other just to
Mm.
see what it's like to live with the other person, because there's
Yeah.
nowhere else for the other person to go. So you have
Right.
to, sort of sort out situations. This is
Yeah.
like 2x that.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the one, maybe like one situation that I always bring up to other people. It's like if I can
Mm.
last through all of that, and if we both
Mhm.
still felt love for each other after that, like we're probably going to be okay.
If you still felt love for each other, yeah, man. I don't even know. I feel like I'd be ripping out my hair, like trying to commute with somebody every single day. But then
Yeah.
again, there's a reason why things happen. I'm a firm believer in there's always a reason why something happens in your life. It's either the universe, but for me, it's God. Like there is a reason why a person is placed in your life.
Mhm.
And the timing just kind of worked out for you too. It was the timing, it was the location, and it was just like, you know what? It was a sign.
Yeah, yeah, it was
He
a
was the
sign.
one for you.
And that's how I knew. So it's like it's part logical and part it just kind of made sense. So, like I said, I think everybody goes through like a different version of this themselves. Like some people
Hmm.
I've heard like they were just spending a normal day, and they,
Yeah.
looked at each other and they're like, yeah, that's the person. And some people
What?
just needed like an extra kick, like a fairy, like a fairy tale moment.
Yeah.
And some people have to go through that, so I think it's a personal decision for sure.
Okay. Yeah, for
um
sure.
and personal decision plus like hard work.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a commitment that you're making, and you have to stick to the choice that you make,
Right.
which also requires hard work, right? So I do
Hmm.
see what you're saying. That is, once again, that's the other aspect of our, maintaining a healthy relationship. But it's just, I guess as a single person kind of looking into these relationships, and whether they are relationships that have been, formed for a while now, or whether they are
Hmm.
new relationships or whatnot, it's just, it makes me wonder, like, how do people just know? How do people like at one point decide this is my person for life? And not
Hmm.
only is it just one person deciding, but it's those two people who are in the relationship that decide, okay, we are going to spend the rest of our lives together. You are my person. Like
Yeah.
to have that timing kind of like set, I don't know.
It's hard, it's a tough one.
Yeah, it like always amazes me to think that, oh my gosh, these two people ended up together and they're going to spend the rest of their lives together, hopefully. Right.
Yeah.
Um,
And there is one thing that I would say is a lot of times that you obviously on social media you see the good side of relationships, right?
oh,
You
of
see the
course.
super sweet side, you see the, oh my god, he just bought me a gift, or oh my gosh,
Right.
vacation, right? Like you, I feel like very rarely will you see like the ugly sides of relationships.
Yeah, I mean, who would want to post that, right? Like no one wants
Exactly.
to hear your drama. Like, or maybe some people do actually, because some people like the gossip. But at the same time, you don't want to be posting everything,
Yeah.
um, you know, so that it's public. You don't want that.
But, I would just like to remind everyone that,
Mm,
past what you see on social media or even what you
mhm.
hear from your friends, because sometimes like friends still like to keep their relationships, I don't know, looking normal and good in front of other people.
I guess so. And it's also kind of hard to be like telling everything to your friends too sometimes, just because you don't want them
Right.
to hate your significant other,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Right. Because, you can't always be venting about your significant other. And then your friend's probably going to be like, wait, I'm so confused. Why are you still with
Yeah,
them?
exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's also like the work side of that. And I think, probably because Hollywood doesn't glamorize it,
Hmm.
we don't see it enough that I feel like a lot of people do feel like a lot of those times it is a fairy tale moment.
True.
But we've said it before, like a relationship is work. And like I'm not trying to kind of beat it over the head and be like my
Hmm.
relationship is so hard. you know
Yeah.
but I'm just here hopefully to serve as like the logical friend that you have to let
Oh,
you know that
yeah.
like there's still certain parts of relationships that aren't the most glamorized. Like for me, what I would
Right.
love to see is Hollywood do like maybe that's what like TV shows are for, but to really like
Mm.
see what happens after those glamorized moments, right? Like
Okay.
what
Okay.
happens when couples settle down together and they have to work through problems, right? Less so of like the, oh my gosh, they like just miss each other on the plane, or like they just miss each other like wherever, and then like they just
Girl.
somehow saw each other from afar and then they ended up together. Like past that.
Well, past that would just be an ordinary life pretty much. And so I don't think
Right,
Hollywood
right.
would actually want to, you know, show that because everyone knows that. Like entertainment is all about getting outside of your everyday life.
True,
So
true. But I would like to see it more on screen, I guess.
would you really though? Would you really? I feel like if you saw it, you'd be like, this is a really boring movie.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. But you know what?
Yeah.
There is, I feel like, the good part of seeing just normal stuff on screen. Like sometimes we need normal. There's just
Well,
too much of everything on social media, on TVs and movies, and sometimes normal is good.
well, normal is very subjective. So girl, I don't know what you're talking about.
For me then.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, hopefully everyone who's been cuffed up already,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know. I think some people are like they're getting in there already. But
Mm-hmm.
those single peoples out there who are looking for other single peoples out there, good luck. Good
Good
luck
luck.
finding your
Yeah.
boo. And if you find the one, damn, like God was looking out for you. Because
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know how you find that. I don't know. I don't even know when like, how did they know? How do people know? I mean, even after this conversation, I'm still kind of like, well, I get it. I understand that part of the relationship. I understand like at one point it's your decision to be like, that person's the one.
Right.
But like, I don't,
What does that
I'm like
mean?
scratching my head. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
well, it's not like what does that mean, but it's more of I feel like the person is the one if they also have that same kind of mindset
Right,
and
right.
commitment with you. But it's like,
Mhm.
how do you find that? I know you said there's 7 billion people out there and we only meet 1% ish, maybe even less.
Yeah.
However, yeah, I mean, I would like to meet the other billions of people out there because my pool of people right now, it's not happening. you
I mean,
know?
hey, like you said, right? Everything happens for a reason. So there's
Okay,
probably a reason why you haven't found that person yet. So just
true.
gotta just gotta wait. I do believe like a lot of stuff is timing related, and just sometimes things happen and you can't rush it,
Right.
because when you rush it, you get into relationships that are not necessarily right for you. So
True.
just gotta wait,
Could possibly.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. I talk about like all this relationship stuff, but I'm here like I don't even want to go out. I just want to like, chill with my friends and I just want to have my me time. So I'm in that zone now. Um,
Mm,
but just kind of looking towards the future because that's
yeah,
what we
yeah,
like to do.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, hey, those of you who are looking for the one, um, listen to Jessica's advice and commute with them in the morning and after work. That's how you'll
Was that
know.
advice?
I think that was like the main takeaway from this whole conversation. Commute with your partner to work and then back home. That's how you'll know.
For
Mhm.
like an extended amount of time.
Maybe like a year or so, when you first start dating, be like, hey, where's your workplace? Oh, I live here. Oh, you want to commute? Yeah. Try it out. That was my main takeaway. I don't know about you, but that was
Okay.
my main takeaway from all this.
Okay. Okay. Well, for those of you who's already found the one, definitely let us know what was your maybe other takeaways for Jamie. Maybe we'll consolidate a list.
Oh,
That's
for me.
yeah, not as like labor intensive as like commuting every day for a very long time.
True. Maybe something else. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. And for everyone who's looking to get cuffed up in this cuffing season, good luck.
Boot up. Get boot up. Good luck.
Good luck, and we'll be there for you. And to
I guess
answer
so.
more maybe future relationship dilemmas and questions post cuffing season.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Right.
Well, that's everything we have for you this week. We will see you guys next week.